Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's so cold. It's still so dark. You guys can't even see me. I just saw a comment. Someone called me self-righteous. and you think, I mean, I pay heed to what people say, and then I'll think, okay, if I were so self-righteous, then I would make sure that I get always the best of everything, which I do the opposite. I always make sure that if I'm not by myself, say cooking or receiving something, this I always share and always first give the best to my guests or my fellow housemates, this, that. And the other thing, I could be in there in a warm room right now, but there's still two people sleeping, so I'm here, out here, in the cold, okay, doing my Bible reading because it's going to be a busy day. So I got to get this done now, but trying to do it with consideration towards people still sleeping in there. I can get kind of loud when I do this. So I'm out here, but I'm bundled up. It's fine, no problem. I'm going to put my feet up as well. Oh, there we go. Oh, there, all good. Get some things out of the way, yeah. Got my cup of coffee. Sure is a good brew. All right, so there it is. I think that, again, sometimes people just need to say hurtful things, I guess, just to get back at you with something that you said that really struck a nerve in them. But, all I can say is to look at your own surroundings and see and who you really are, this, that, and don't let things like that bother you. But I felt like I needed to say that this morning, Again, because I'm not self-righteous, just because I'm a righteous person and I love or I want to abide by the laws of heaven and live a life that I can be proud of when it comes to my virtues and my morals and this and that, and then trying to also teach. I feel like I don't just, okay, well, that's not running in the right direction and one shouldn't be doing this. Let's try to find the root of the problem and then a solution. I think I'm doing all right. So, but it is what it is. But to mention that for others out there, when suddenly you doubt yourself because someone said something, look on. Okay, is that true? Is that really something that I need to change, or that I'm not true about? Or hey, wait a second, that's not true. I already know that's not true, and then let it roll off and let it go, and then continue teaching. Of course, always that. So we're in Exodus 3, the burning bush. Moses was looking after the flock of his father-in-law, Jethro. Jethro. I'm watching NCIS right now again. I like that show. I put that on when I'm busy with other things. Just kind of listening. Interesting show. The priest of Midian, he led it to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Oh, I didn't know Horeb was the mountain of God. How did Horeb become the mountain of God? Oops, something to go and look up. The angel of Yahweh appeared to him in a flame blazing from the middle of a bush. Oh, it's an angel. Or are they meaning the Spirit of God? Moses looked. There was the bush blazing, but the bush was not being burnt up. Moses said, I must go across and see this strange sight and why the bush is not being burnt up. When Yahweh saw him going across to look, God called to him from the middle of the bush. Moses, Moses, he said. Here I am, he answered. Come nearer, he said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. I am the God of your ancestors, he said, the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses covered his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Here we go again. Why are people so afraid of God? Man, when you have an experience like this, by the way, I know how this works, okay? That's a burning bush, but the bush isn't burning up. It's because, and I've seen this myself several times in my life, not too many times, but I've seen it enough that I know that the physical and the spiritual world sometimes can merge, and then something really kind of phenomenal happens, okay? And they can be little things that you hardly notice. I remember sitting in the bathroom one time, looking out the window, and there was this branch, and it was not moving, but it was moving, and I'm going, there's no wind or anything. Why? And only this one branch was moving and changing colors, and it was interweaving with something. I said, like two worlds suddenly, and the one world unseen to most, when it merged, suddenly the branch became brighter and stronger and like this transparent something. It was really amazing. I just sat and I watched, and it just kept on going. And I'm going, oh wow, I'm just experiencing something really amazing here, right? Yes, yeah. So I think sometimes I've had all these experiences, in the physical and the spiritual, that I'm was aware of, and acknowledged that this is really amazing. I'm experiencing something very incredible given by heaven. Then in order to make sense out of some of the stories here as well, or when there's something to teach to someone about a affliction they have, or confusion about their life, or their physical and spiritual, and then be able to give through your own experiences, right? I know why that is. I can explain that to you, right? Yes, yeah. Well, anyway, it's so I understand this burning bush that we think, well, that's not possible. How is that? And people question that, yet it is absolutely possible, right? In this case, it was strong enough, Moses, I'm going to go and check that out, right? And because he was curious, because he was paying attention, then God was able to talk to him. Well, anyway, that's, okay. That doesn't mention that. The mission of Moses. Yahweh then said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying for help on account of their taskmasters. Yes, I am well aware of their sufferings. And I have come down to rescue them from the clutches of the Egyptians and bring them up out of that country, to a country rich and broad, to a country flowing with milk and honey, to the home of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Yes, indeed, the Israelites' cry for help has reached me, and I have also seen the cruel way in which the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now I am sending you to Pharaoh, for you to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. Moses said to God, who am I to go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? I shall be with you, God said, and this is the sign by which you will know that I was the one who sent you. After you have led the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Again, I said that in the other one. Now that the Israelites are turning back to God, in their misery, they took that, and what if they would have all just lived in happy hunky dory Egypt, and this that, and then what did the Egyptians believe in? Right? Yes. That suddenly then, well, things go so well for you and all that, then you're going to worship whatever is there. So, but again, for the Egyptians to see the Israelites thriving and doing so well, that was a problem, and they started to oppress them and to abuse them. Then the Israelites remembered the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I said Joseph yesterday. I guess he was Joseph's God too, was he? Joseph's not mentioned in that succession somehow. Maybe because Joseph had a different path there. But now it's up to Moses to bring the people back to God. It isn't just to get them away from the Egyptians, but also bring them back to God. One has to understand how God works in all that. And again, when can he be of help? The divine name revealed. Moses then said to God, look, if I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What am I to tell them? Oh, God said to Moses, wait. So God hadn't been mentioned in a long time. See? My train of thought is not wrong. I am he who is. And he said, this is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. I am has sent me to you. God further said to Moses, you are to tell the Israelites, Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name for all time, and thus I am to be invoked for all generations to come. I am who I am. I am. I am, absolutely, right? Yes. Yeah. God's trying to tell us every which way, I am. Why do you still doubt me? Yeah, just because I am. Yeah. And that will never change. Yeah. And it's a powerful statement. I am. Moses instructed for his mission. Go, gather the eldest of Israel together and tell them, Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, has appeared to me, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, and has indeed visited you and seen what is being done to you in Egypt, and has said, I shall bring you out of the misery of Egypt to the country of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, to a country flowing with milk and honey. They will listen to your words, and you and the elders of Israel are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, has encountered us. So now please allow us to make a 3 days journey into the desert and sacrifice to Yahweh our God. I am well aware that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless he is compelled by a mighty hand. He will not let you go until I have stretched out my arm and struck Egypt with all the wonders I intend to work there. Yeah, I know what's coming, and yeah, it's a interesting one. Natural disasters and stuff, we know well, they happen. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that one. The Egyptians to be plundered. I know that Pharaoh will be given a choice. And the consequences of either one of them could be, Egypt could be blessed, the other one's going to cause some problems for them. The Egyptians to be plundered. I shall ensure that the Egyptians are so much impressed with this people that when you go, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman will ask her neighbor and the woman staying in her house for silver and golden jewelry and clothing. In these you will dress your own sons and daughters, despoiling the Egyptians of them. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's the end of 3. Oh, interesting. It's kind of though, right? If you want to get rid of someone, sometimes, okay, that sounds weird. You give them enough to be on their way. It's kind of sad that somehow after Joseph passed away and then new pharaohs came into place, on how a relationship between two people just disintegrated. And how that exactly happened, it's an interesting one. And why does that still happen? Why is it so difficult for people to just live in peace together if you are rich or poor or this or that? And yeah, sadly, I mean, one never knows. Why did they all end up in Egypt, to begin with? What reason was there in God's mind somehow to see if people, the Egyptians were pretty prosperous and all that. Yeah. So if they could have united with each other, in a way, and to live peacefully next to each other, and with each other, this, how would the world be like today? But conflict just seems to follow humankind, all self-designed, all self-designed, and I don't know. It's an odd one. That exodus from Egypt. Yeah. Well, anyway, it just shows that, but it also shows that it was necessary because the people started to forget God. Right? Moses had said, "Well, what do I tell them? So that they believe me that I'm really working with you together, right? Yeah, what name shall I give you? What's the name I should use?" But they ask me, so what's God's name? And that kind of God had to be made a part of, a really substantial part of that people, the Israelites again. Right? I am. No questions to be asked. I am. Well, that's the end of 3. It's cold out here. My hands are really cold. But I'm done, and it was a short one. Yeah, see, it's kind of like that. Here I am, trying to be considerate of the people in the house. And I come across a short one today, so I don't have to sit out here for too long, freezing. We are going to have really, really cold weather. It's going to be in the gosh, I think 1 degrees, which could be, we could have minus going to, we're higher up here, always a few degrees warmer or colder than anywhere else. But I don't know, the world from this porch always looks beautiful no matter what. All right, I wouldn't like to see the hills on fire. That wouldn't be a good thing. Well, I think that's all I have to share today. I have to think about. I think about things. Things come up. I think about things. And suddenly, through a give and take with someone else, everything just kind of flows together again. Where, though I know, right? It's just as I am, I know. I just don't quite understand why I know, right? Or to give it, to teach it, I don't know. I know, but I don't know how to do that. And then suddenly everything comes together. And it happened again this morning as well with something. And I'm going, oh, wow, that's amazing. And absolute, complete understanding happens. And then one can teach. And substantiate a foundation that was just kind of thrown out there and going, oh, what am I going to have to do with this now? And that someone said, now I'm the one, I'm someone that explains this foundation. Yes? Yeah. Well, anyway, all right. there it is. Well, I'm still tired too, but I've done what I needed to do today. Okay, that was Exodus 3. I guess the Egyptians are in for some heartache themselves. Yeah, that's when you mistreat the people of God. Eventually, that's just not going to be a good thing. Somehow. And it's not that God wants to punish you or anything. It's nothing to do with that. It's just the flow of life. If it gets disrupted, there are consequences. Yeah, self-inflicted. Always self-inflicted. Anywho, so we try our best, right? Yes? Okay. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will read to you another time.